Hey guys, well today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the VK4502B. It is a German tank, it is a German heavy tank, and it's kind of strange. It's a funny sort of tank because it plays very German-like, which is great for sort of what we call side scraping off buildings. If you think you could block it through this section here and just bounce off the side here if you're angling it, it's actually pretty good. And now with the update 5.5 that came out, where this guy lies currently is right here, which is just before the new VK7201K. And this big fella here, it's kind of like, it's been out in the battlefield for a little while. It looks like it's an interesting tank. I still think it's got some shortcomings. I don't think I've seen too many people play it properly yet, but I'm yet to play it myself, so I'm not going to cast any judgment there. Now, what you're going to see is a game coming up where we do pretty well in this tank, and just so you know, I'm running the 12.8 centimeter gun. Have a look at the gun. It actually has fairly decent shell penetration and pretty good damage. Rate of fire is still reasonably slow, and this is buffed up a little bit. Aim time slow as well. So again, you have a few things that aren't in your favor. You need to kind of use some techniques for this too. But the other thing to remember with this tank is you need to be really sort of shoot, get behind cover, shoot, get behind cover, and you know, even though it's got an incredibly strong front on it, if you look at the front armor, 200 mil, but when you actually angle the front, the actual front plate, it's actually around about 332 millimeters. So the lower plate is not so good. It's about 170. So you can pen the lower front plate on it mostly. And also if you're shooting down onto the top of it, you can shoot this top part of the tank fairly easily, and that kind of gives you some grief, you know, when you're doing that. So if you're sort of looking at it from that point of view, if someone's shooting down onto here, that's actually fairly thin, that part of the tank. The other thing that's pennable is the hatch at the top here. That there, you can normally pen it, but if you have a look at it from down here, it's not a great sort of target. And if someone's looking at you from here, if you're kind of aiming your turret at them, if they hit your turret, it's not going to do damage to it. So that's not good. These cheeks are fantastic if you're looking straight at it, because you've got the gun mantlet just here and the cheeks. But you turn that a little bit like that, and this part here becomes quite pennable as well for most tanks. So side on is quite a big area to hit, very easily damaged, and rear is pretty vulnerable. So you don't want to get stuck in those situations. Now, in terms of loadout equipment, I'm running obviously gun rammer to try and get that up to the 4.91. I'm also running the vitality in improved modules, and I'm also running the improved optics. I'm looking for maneuverability, so that's you know, really important as far as I'm concerned. You can go to engine accelerator, but I go for improved control because again, you don't want to be caught out, and the accelerator is great, but it's only going to give you 2 kilometers an hour top speed really, and it's not going to change your mobility too much. Obviously enhanced armor on this, because you've got such high hull armor already, 4% extra is actually quite huge. Now I haven't gone and actually upgraded the aim time, but I probably should drop it down another half a second would actually help. So I could do that. I just haven't really been asked, to be honest. Now I've already gone through this tank up the line a while back and unlocked the mouse, because it used to be directly to the mouse, but now it's to this VK7201K. And to get the mouse now, you've got to go through this Mauschen, which is the baby mouse. So I've already done this. I'm actually doing it again. I'm doing a whole nother grind on this tank to get through to the tier 10, the VK7201. So I'm back in it, and initially I hated the tank when I first started playing it. And now I've kind of warmed to it a little bit. It's actually not too bad, and you tend to have a bit of fun in it. Provisions, I'm also running the, obviously trying to get the crew mobilized, which is also giving me a reduced rate of fire. Bugger all, but it does help. And the same with the improved fuel, gives me a little bit better mobility, and obviously the chocolate, which does help with maneuverability and also turret speed, and rate of fire gets improved also. So all those things add up to help, so you can't really not be running provisions. I always run a few premium shells just for that extra pen, because that really does help. And also there's some heat which does help, and if you do get through a tank with the heat, you can actually do quite a big number damage on it. So it's a pretty good tank. Let's roll straight into a game and have a look at this thing in action. Righto, so let's roll out onto the battlefield. And it's a supremacy match, and it's also a tier 10 match, which is critical in this regard, because we are talking about a tank that is actually a tier 9. So obviously tier 9 in a tier 10 match. Right now what I'm doing is scoping out where my team's going, and obviously if I went down through to A, I would find myself sort of down there on my own. So I'm pushing up here through to C. I know I've got guys up on my right, and I know I've got guys on my left, which means what I can do from here is just give a support role at this point in time, and obviously gives me an opportunity to potentially get C, which, you know, supremacy, you're supposed to actually try and get caps, which help give you points. There's two ways to get points, which is get caps, or you can actually kill the enemy. So they're the two ways that you can actually make the game work for you. If you're used to playing the game a fair bit, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. So pushing up here, I'm capping, and at the same time I put a shot into the leopard, or tried to anyway, and I'm just trying to sit here and give support. Now, not sure what's coming up on my left, so I'm just taking my time. At this point in time, we are down 2 tanks already, and that's obviously happening around near B, and they're calling for help in at B. And so at this point in time, I know that, you know, I've got to get rid of this Leo. Leos can be so dangerous at this tier, because obviously they have a bloody good gun on them, and, you know, in the right hands they can disappear off the map before you even know it, and just keep putting a lot of pressure on. So saw an opportunity to get some shots in on the T-54, and now I'm just trying to push up, finish him off, and at this point in time what we're doing is we're pushing around just to get rid of this guy, because he's on a reload, which is a fairly big one, and he's now putting shots in. You can see me turning straight towards him, because I'm trying to put that that hull strength to good work, which is pointing the hull at them. Now at this point in time it's pretty even. We're 2-all. We've got rid of 2 tanks, and you can see that the points is pretty even. We're just a little bit ahead, but this BC on their team is actually going to do some damage along with that Jag. So we're in a position now, I've got to come up against a tortoise. You see I just bounced a 400 shot from a tortoise, and now I'm backing away. So I don't want to give him an opportunity to put that kind of round into me. So now I'm actually playing sort of a game. Now see what I'm doing here, I'm going to try and side scrape off this and shoot, and obviously here I get a little, I thought there was another, the BC coming through, they get a better shot on him. So the tortoise is now backing away, forcing me to go towards him. So again, I bounced off the front of him, which was unfortunate. But now I'm just being the patient player, because I know the tortoise can actually reload faster than me. And you see the whole time I'm using that wall as a way of putting it between him and me. Now he put one through me there. Not much I could do. They got a very powerful gun. Now I've got to manage the tortoise and the E100 that's coming up, and the E100 is not looking at me, thank God. So now what I get to do is I put another one into that tortoise. That was a bit of a lucky snapshot, but I want to get away from that E100 because he can do a lot of damage to me on the side. So now what I've done is trying to put one into this tortoise and get rid of him, and I bounced, which was very unlucky for me. Now he's gone straight for my hatch, and at the same token I was able to get rid of him and put him away. Oh, sorry, the teammate did that, not me. I didn't do that, but I was able to do that. So now what I'm going to do is push down. It's now 2-on-2, but what we've got left is a BC, and we've also got this E100. Now that E100 is close to full health, look at my health. It's pretty low. So what am I doing again? I'm going to side scrape off this tortoise. I know he's coming around. Put one into him for a 427 roll. And now that BC is back there, and I'm thinking to myself, what is my choice? I've got to put another one into this guy, and I'm trying to track him to stop him, and coming back to my wall again, where I've got a little bit of a safe space here. Everyone talks about their safe space these days. Now, I spot an opportunity, which is to get rid of this BC, because I know one clip of his could really dispatch me, and he's about to kill this E50M up here, which leaves me on my own. Now, he doesn't even know I'm here. I'm waiting for the aim, and take my shot, which kills him. Now, I'm in front on points. I could easily just run, but he could then turn around and take B off me straight away here. Now, I got to admit, I get a bit lucky here. This E100 comes round, and I take a shot on him. He puts one into me for a 644 roll. This should be his game. I should be completely done. They're all calling for HE on this guy, but cool heads prevail. I got another one in on him. I've dropped the adrenaline, and this is it. High stakes stuff. He should have done. He misses me. How's that for a lucky miss? And look at that. We kill the E100. We almost made it on points. He should have won the game right there and then, but sadly he did not, and we prevailed. So VK45.02B, and that is a mastery. 4,918 damage. Top scored, obviously, and we won the game, which is really cool. We actually hit 14 shots, 12 of them went in, and we got a lot of credits for that. So there's how I play that tank, and I really do hope you got something out of that vid, because I enjoyed playing the game and bringing it to you. Keep subscribing and keep following the channel, and I'll be around on the battlefield. So yeah.